And I mean, it was truly like it gave us a lot of confirmation, but it also gave us a lot more ideas, and also, you know, action items of things we need to do to continue to scale. And also it was an eye opener to have someone else, you know, look at our business and, you know, tell us, you know, like, hey, like these are the cold hard facts and truths just from what I'm seeing, and like these are your risks associated with them. So, you know, these are things you should take and implement right away and take action with. So I mean, I think a good topic would be mentorship, and who are we seeking out to get mentorship, and does anyone need help finding, you know, a mentor to be able to help elevate your real estate career, your professional career, your spiritual, like whatever it may be. So Corey, you got to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you said that because we're talking about this topic. Like it would be great to, and it's perfect timing to talk about mentorship, because I do see a lot going on out there. There's a lot of options for mentorship, like mentorship groups and, mentorship training programs, or, and usually it comes with a price tag, which is fine, right? There should be a price for admission. But at the same time, it's a true mentorship, in my opinion, is a mentor is a person who you already have an established, genuine relationship with. It's not someone who you just met on stage and you'll pay for their attention. It's someone who's actually vested in your success and who you are. They know your background. They're more than just a couple meetings. Relationship. It's something that's built over time. And obviously, you want to look for a mentor who is where you want to be one day, or has been through the fires that you are currently going through, or they've been on the journey. They won the game almost. So I think those are, I'd like to talk about mentorship. I think it's very important because I don't care what level you're at, you should have mentors and coaches in your life, whether it's for personal growth, professional growth, spiritual growth, health. So uh, a mentor can come in different, they can wear different hats, they can have many faces. But I think the true fundamentals of having a mentor starts with someone who is vested in your success and vested in your personal growth and your life. And when you know we were thinking about this, like, hey, in order to get to the next level, in order to hit the goals that we have this year, we have to be different people. We have to grow personally and professionally. And so mentorship was something that we thought of, and Alex really kind of brought the idea home to reach out to our contacts, because we have those people who would be great mentors for us. And when we're thinking about it, it's like, okay, we obviously want to value their time, right? And these are people who have much more experience and knowledge than we do. So if we value our own time, we should value their time even more. And I was saying, like, we were kind of just joking around, like, I'll pay $1,000 for an hour phone call once a month, or more possibly. And I'd happily pay that, because their time is invaluable. So we offered that. We almost insisted, but both of the two people both said they would do it for free. And it's because we have built those relationships with them already. Now we'll insist, and maybe we'll pay to their charity, maybe we'll be a sponsor at their next event. But the point is that when we came to the people who we want as mentors, like a former mentors, and we asked them if we could, and we asked them if we could compensate for their time, and they refused. Um, that that tells me that we're on the right track and we have the right people to help guide us, in this journey. So I'd like to talk about mentorship. What does it take? What should you look for in a mentor, right? And maybe we can start there, because I think we should all start to look to others, that we have built relationships with, and ask for a formal mentorship and guidance. So what do you look for in a mentor, right? And I think I'll start is, for me, a mentor, I feel, should never want it more than you. You know, they should never want it more than you. You need to want it. And a mentor is a good mentor will point you in the right direction, but they won't hold your hand and take you there. Right. So I think those are what I would look for in a good mentor. Obviously, maybe the same moral compass, right? And they are someplace that you want to be, whether it's in business or in life. So, Kiko, you got anything to add on mentorship? I know you've had a lot of mentors in your past.
Oh, I love that. I think everything you said makes perfect sense to me too. I think especially if you see a mentor as somebody who's maybe a little bit ahead of you in the journey that you're hoping to walk one day. Somebody once said, life is too short to make all the mistakes yourself. And I think that's a huge lesson, because we always, as entrepreneurs, we want to try everything and try to see if we can make things happen. But sometimes we're making mistakes that cost us time and money. So I know for people like Tay does a thing with Ryan. So Tay, would you consider Ryan Pineda like your mentor, or is he a peer mentor? Because, and let me, before you answer that question, I see mentors as mentors that are like ahead of you, and then there's peer mentors, so friends that are kind of journeying alongside you at the same time, and you're mentoring each other as you go. And then there's historic mentors, so mentors that were around, they did some really amazing things, and then now maybe they're dead, but yet their literature, their books, some of their stuff continues to mentor you. So I think those are like, there's three different kinds of mentors out there. And then there's, so I mean, Tay, what about you? I know you do, you invest a lot of money into some of the trips that you go on and such.
Yeah, so I'm actually not with Ryan Pineda, I'm with Pace Morby with the Sub2.
Okay. Yeah.
And Pace created like a community, it's very community oriented, and he like pushes people to work together and grow and level up together. So just within that group of people, there are people who are way ahead of you and people who are way behind you. But I would say my best mentors are like people in my network. So I would say like a little bit of in here in this Kiko group call. I remember, I think you guys were on your fourth or fifth call when I started attending weekly, and guests you've had on here have helped. A few of us attended a mastermind with Steve Ross shortly after you had him on here. And I know that I text a few of the people in here for advice. And then within Pace Morby's Hawaii Sub2, I feel like I have mentors there as well. So yeah, I love mentorship, and I do look for people who are way ahead, so that questions I ask are not surprising or scary, and they understand what it's like to be at my level because they've gone through that.
Yeah, that's so good. I really love that. I mean, when you sign up for somebody like Pace Morby, you're paying into it. So in some ways, there's a huge commitment on our part. And then Pace is like a mentor who's one on many. So it's not like what Corey was talking about earlier, where it's like a phone call and you're one-on-one, but it's one on many. But I think that works out really, really well. A lot of people, I'm going to go to my first Tony Robbins event in August. And Tony Robbins events usually are, I mean, they start at 10,000, they go up to 250,000. So it's kind of insane. But it was just interesting. But I think when you invest money into it, there is a value exchange because now your heart's into it more. So, I'm all over Pace more. He's amazing. I think he's great. But I agree too. Like, I think this network has been awesome. Just, we started it because of COVID and we all wanted to talk to humans instead of sit at home by ourselves. And so it's turned out to be really cool because there's deals being done together, but then really, like you said, such an exchange of ideas and accountability. Yeah, that's super awesome. That's good. Sorry, Corey, I think I took it in a different direction than you were headed.
No. I mean, mentorship in general is good to talk about, and I think there's difference between mentorship and accountability partners, right? And they're all necessary. And look, I want to share as we go through this, because the mentors that we've so far, two of the three that we've brought on or have agreed to mentor us, these are guys that like they can help elevate all of us, and we will help, maybe to keep us accountable and to help us uh, be able to retain some of the teachings that we have. I'd like to share every now and then on our calls with you guys here, because these are lessons I think that we can all benefit from. And I'll give one from today. So Leonard, he was telling a story about one of his, I think it was his mentors, that they had an opportunity to sell or to land an account with Target, which would have been like a maybe multi 9-figure deal for them. So it was a family run business. The father was kind of, he was still running the business, but his sons were now heavily involved and about to take over. And what happened was the son was very excited and said like, wow, this is going to be a great deal, best deal we've done. And but the father said no. The father said no to the deal because he knew that they did not have the capacity yet. They weren't ready yet to fulfill that order. If they did, they'd have to invest to, build out their manufacturing, hire people just to fulfill the order. And what if Target backs out, right? So that type of deal, it can be catastrophic. So the lesson that I learned through Leonard was that sometimes the biggest threats to your business can be disguised as opportunity, right? And so we just have to be careful with that. And it's just to be aware. So that was a big lesson that we learned, and we've already had to learn this lesson the hard way, a couple of years ago, when we thought we had big opportunities, at our fingertips, but really it wasn't. It actually was a distraction, So that was a big lesson. And so I'd like to share, if you guys don't mind, every now and then, what we're learning through this mentorship. Alex, what about you?
For me, guys, I've really realized how powerful mentorship can be. And one thing I also realized about it is you need a mentor for almost every area of your life. And like business, you need a business mentor that is experienced in business and has done, something on the scale that you want to do. It may not have to be in the exact same vertical, but they need to have the business foundations and the principles to help you in that area. So something I've done in my life is I've really sought out mentors for every area of my life. Like I have a spiritual mentor that, helps me with my faith and, and also with, like historic education by finding historic mentors. So me and him have a book club. We exchange books once a month. We talk about the book, we give insights. And for me, that's been unbelievable. And then, like for Corey and Kekoa, I consider them huge mentors for me in business and opportunities and, how to really live the Aloha lifestyle and, what it means. So for me, I consider them mentors, for my business. But then, I'm business partners with Marshall Falk in a different business. And for me, he's, another mentor that I seek out. And for me, he's greatness. Like this guy is the definition of greatness. And he's lived and breathed it and been at the absolute top of his craft. And then also pivoted and went into a new industry where he takes the same principles and standards and transfers them across to a new venture like real estate or, financial services. And these are able to excel. So for me, like learning from him, it's the principles and like the work ethic and what he takes from behind that. So and then like it's me and Corey, like I realized as man, I think like we need mentors for our company and for us to grow individually, but also grow our whole organization. And as we grow, we can elevate everyone around us. Like we don't want to be like the captain of the leading ship. It's like we want to be the tide. We want to come in and we want to raise all ships. So we're seeking out those mentors that are going to help us scale the business, help us be better leaders ourselves, but also be better leaders to our guys, and also provide more value to everybody on this call. Because, we really believe in living the Go-Giver method. And Roderick, thank you for being the first one to, say, hey, and, I love that you buy books for people. I buy books for people all the time, and like one of my favorite questions to ask people is, what's one book that changed your life? Because everybody has an answer for that. And man, if you're reading the book that changed everybody's life in your network of your associations, the amount of content you're going to get is going to be unbelievable. Your thinking and your thought process elevates. You're able to recall and have different thoughts that you may have never had without having that data available to your subconscious mind. So mentorship's unbelievable. It's huge. And I think it's something that we should really, help each other with and seeking out mentorship. So, and that's one thing what this whole community is about, is helping. So like Roderick, he already volunteered, so he's looking for somebody above, he's looking for somebody below, and peers. And in this room, we have that for everybody. So if you don't have what you need, just reach out and, we're here to help in any way we possibly can.
So good. Anybody else got a good, Daniel, who do you use for mentors?
I just signed up for like a mentorship with Steve Rosenberg, actually.
Oh,
The thing is, I realized like how important mentorship is like over the years. And so I think when I first started, it was just, my mentors were like Brandon Turner and David Green, just reading their books and listening to the podcasts. Like you said, just like listening to what like the guys, and just coming on here. I think when I first started, Corey was kind of like my mentor, just breaking into the Hawaii scene. So he really helped me out a lot. Just being around him, I think, is you kind of like just absorb certain things that like what people are doing. So that was like really strong. But then as you get to different levels, I think different seasons, you search for different mentors, right? So I joined Sub 2 with Tay Guys too. And so there's a bunch of different rock stars in that group too. But then just to every level, I think you're just looking for different things. But like, I think what I need right now is like a business coach, not just like a real estate coach. So that's where I was looking for someone who has some success in business. So I just signed up for like a pretty hefty mentorship or coaching program with him, Steve.
So tell us about that coaching program, because I think there's oftentimes a lot of us who at some point in our careers, we look for somebody that we want to engage in and actually pay some significant money for. And I think all of us has looked at different people. Like Pace Morby is not inexpensive for sure. And there's a lot of programs out there. So why did you choose Steve's? And I know Steve really, really well. In fact, we're constantly texting each other. He's an amazing guy. And we're going to do a lot in Houston. We modeled our whole property management company over after his, actually, because he mentored us and he gave us all his stuff. So it's just amazing. Awesome. But yeah, why did you choose him?
I think also like one of the things is when you're looking at different kind of mentorships, a lot of them like Ryan Pineda or Pace Morby, they're awesome, but you're never gonna have access to the guy himself, right? It's always gonna be either like the secondary level or like the peers, et cetera, which is awesome. But then like the reason why I went to like I think the Clever Summit, and they kind of had like this like program where you could have like you could be mentored or coached by someone like the top guys like Pace or Cody or I think the like Carlos Reyes, etc. But you wouldn't really actually get like mentored with him. Like there's still gonna be like a big disconnect, and you're probably not gonna see them very often, right? So with Steve, every time he's coming down to Hawaii, we grab lunch or we get to hang out, and he is basically like coaching me for free, like within my business, and it was like really helpful, insightful things. And so just by like building that small relationship ahead of time, I realized like first of all, I like the dude. He's like inspiring. And then also like, I feel like he's done exactly the things that I want to do, where he's scaled out of his business and he's able to kind of make it run as a ship without himself involved and exit it successfully. he enjoys like the coaching. So it's not, he's not doing it for the money. He's like, he genuinely enjoys coaching people. And then just the where he is, and just because we already had that personal relationship, I feel like it's worth it to, I mean, like it'll be a good investment, because I believe like I kind of have an idea of like what it's going to be like before we actually like I paid any money, you know. So that was kind of like one of the big reasons why I was like, hey, this seems like a good fit. Is that he's exactly like where I want to be and like where I'm trying to go. And then also I like his stuff. He's like he's a good dude, and like so I already had like a personal relationship before like I went to like to pay for something. So
Oh, that's awesome. He's also pick his brain about partnerships. Like
okay.
he does a couple of his businesses were partnerships, and then they went super well. And then he did what he was gifted at. They did what they were gifted at. They sold, made a ton of money. So
Okay.
yeah, he's legit in that area for sure. And then the other thing to talk to him about is systems. That guy knows systems.
No, that's exactly what I'm trying to like when I need my business right now. I'm trying to build some systems and processes, and I've been kind of struggling through it. I went through like a couple workshops, reading a bunch of books, but I just really need like this is where I really need coaching, just building these systems and like legit systems for my building systems and hiring people, right? To build your team. So those are the two like main kind of pain points in my business now that I feel like Steve has done a great job of kind of implementing in his past.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, Steve's awesome. That's perfect. Anybody else use a mentor at all, and any reasons why you've chosen a certain mentor? It's always cool to hear who else is out there in the mentoring space.
So I picked Keith Gillespie. So I started working for him. So I'm answering.
Oh, you're working. Well, the cool thing is that he just moved to where you have short-term rentals, right? He's in Florida.
Correct. The triplex that we just bought is an hour north of where he just moved, in Daytona. But Keith's great, but he's so hyper focused on the distressed properties and the foreclosures and this and that. And Karn and I really want to get into multifamily or a hotel. I have another neighbor here who's very, very successful, and he already offered to basically finance the whole thing. He has a Super 8. And so that's really the direction I would like to head in. So if any of you guys want to talk multifamily or hotel, I would just be so grateful for that kind of direction. So
Yeah. Anybody wanting to talk about motels or hotels or brothels, just drop your information down there in the chat, and then Roderick will give you a call. Hey, brothels is a lot of money. No, in all seriousness, motels, where do you want to do motels at?
wherever the numbers make sense and wherever, we can get a good deal. I've already been looking on Crexy and LoopNet, just trying to understand, how they work, but something in the $3 million range is what we're looking for.
Okay, so about 25 to 35 doors then.
He seems to think we can get closer to 50 or 60.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're in markets like, if you're in markets that are not like major metropolitans, for sure. For sure. That's exciting. I've got 4 off-market motels in Houston, if you're interested. But I would, when you take a look at motels, a couple of thoughts that you might want to consider is that you could either keep running them as a motel, which means you got to hire a whole staff to clean and run the front desk and security and parking and all that kind of stuff, which is good. And sometimes the numbers work, but in light of COVID, motels are struggling for the most part across the country. And so another play to do is look at motels that are either number 1, near a university and convert them to student housing, or number 2, near a hospital and then make them midterm rentals. So those are traveling nurses. And so that's what we're looking at for 2 of the ones in Houston, is that they're pretty close to, I can't remember what it's called, George Washington Memorial or something like that. So a big hospital system, lots of traveling nurses. Right now, the traveling nurses around the country are up. And the amount that they get in a stipend is huge, and then they get a housing allowance. So that's a good play for the motels. If you're able to secure a motel and then convert the whole thing into, say, traveling nurses, the fun part about that is that traveling nurses come from all over the country and they travel, they don't have friends, but then if they're in kind of a motel campus with a lot of other traveling nurses, then they have instant friends and they've got camaraderie, there's a level of trust and safety. And so it really could be a strong play, and the cash on cash return for traveling nurses is pretty high. The other way to do is get yourself a motel near a corporate complex. So, something like an Amazon facility, Microsoft, or some of those big companies, because they bring in people sometimes for 6 months to 12 months at a time for work. So if it's a really nice kind of an extended stay experience, then that's cool too. The hard part about that is you're competing against some of those motel chains that just do that. But just some thoughts for you as you get started. Happy to talk anytime.
Thanks, Kiko.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. That's fantastic. I know we left off our conversation a while back too about some stuff on short-term rentals, but anytime you want to pick it up, always available.
Yep, I'll shoot you an email next week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'm excited you're interested. Anybody else into the motel space that would like to join a conversation about that? Because that could be pretty cool, is just to get a group of people. Most of us in this call, I think, started off as flippers in some way or another.
I'd be interested in taking a look. I'm trying to take down a 6-unit in India right now and try and turn it into an Airbnb, but we'll see how that goes.
Dude, that's fantastic. Well, we're about to be licensed in Indiana. So
okay.
yeah, we're pretty excited about that. Oh, Jonathan Dempsey's calling me. He's here in Vegas too. It's EDC weekend, which means a whole lot of debauchery in Vegas is happening this weekend. No, that'd be super cool. Tell us about that deal. 50 units, old motel. What was it branded? What was the flag?
Who are you talking to?
To you.
Oh no, it's a 6-unit. So it's like in downtown Indy.
Oh,
It's
6.
but it's like a 2.4 mil 6-unit. So basically it's like in a up and coming part of town, which is like ridiculous prices for Indianapolis. But it's basically, the thought is take this long-term rental in the middle of downtown, walking distance to all like the popular shops, and looking at the comps or whatever, the ARV, it should rent pretty nice for nightly, and then just turn it from like a long-term rental into like an Airbnb. So that's kind of basically the play over there.
It's a beautiful.
Daniel, do you remember when we went to Clever, the short-term rental guy was one of the speakers, and he creates motel Airbnb, like boutique motel Airbnbs. So they take like smaller units and they turn them into like the whole building is an experience, and they each have like a theme or something. I thought that was super cool.
That's a super cool idea. I mean, so one of the things was actually at Clever was inspired me was because Cody Sperber is going all into buying multifamily properties and turning them into Airbnb, and it seems like the cash flow on the Airbnb right now is crazy. So in India, it's landlord friendly. There's like no regulations. Basically, is anybody can kind of do what they want at a certain point in time, right? And then it's like in the middle of downtown, more commercially zoned. And then the thought process is, because it's like small, it's only like 6 units. It's way less like headache, or way less like a turnover, right? So I can basically, they're already, like in great condition, etc. And so like the thought process just changed it from like a short term to a long term. And then like the bigger price points out of state, you get the depreciation, the cost saves, and all the things that help us as flippers, like, because try to not pay so much in taxes, like, so that's kind of like the whole game plan going into like the 6-unit and maybe a higher price point, less units in Indianapolis. But I talked to JD about it. He doesn't like the deal, or he said it's iffy. So
Yeah, if you think about it, just face value, right? That's what, 600,000. Wait, 4 units or 6 units?
6 units.
So $400K a door, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to need to rent at pretty high daily rates to get.
Well, the daily rates is between 200 to 400. So we're saying it's probably like 250 a night. So at that rate, the NOI is about like 400 grand, 300 to 400 grand a year. So it makes sense from that standpoint. From that standpoint, I guess.
Yeah, it would definitely that does make sense. But is the 240 a night, are you comping other motel situations, or are they more like houses?
It's a various lot of like big range of things in that area. So like the downtown, but so it's 200 to 400 around that area. So there are guys that are getting 400. So we would be like in the mid or lower tier of that 200 to 400. So it's like some of them are houses, some of them are just like other commercial things inside the town, but it's like in the middle of downtown. That's why. So that's the reason why they're so priced so high. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, middle of downtown may make sense, because otherwise, at $250 a night in Indy, you could get a pretty nice like Westin hotel room.
Yeah, no, so I mean it's in the middle of downtown and there's parking, there's like parking stalls for the building, etc. too. So that's like the thing.
That's kind of cool, man. Yeah, that's
We'll see,
exciting.
we'll see.
Keep us updated. I mean, even the process of running the numbers and then even going through the whole thing is huge, right? And it gives you a chance to really understand the market. The Airbnb space is really, it's a unique one, and it's hard to know if long-term it's going to continue to keep that pace that it is right now. But right now, man, Airbnb is just off the hook. But that's super cool. Excited. So there's a few of us that might want to jump onto a conversation. You know what we should do? Alex was asking about a meetup. We should do a meetup sometime where we invite experts in the fields that we are all interested in, like an Airbnb person or like a cost seg guy would be cool too, because Daniel threw down a big word called cost segregation, and that's pretty powerful if you don't know what that is. Cool stuff. Anybody else got a mentor situation that you're pretty excited about and willing to share?
I would like to share something,
Yeah.
if I may. I know somebody who is would be a great person that we all could support, not just spiritual real estate career where we talk about, but political as well. And I don't know how many of you have heard of Aloha Freedom Coalition. The guy behind it is Gary Cordery. Have you heard of him? He is running for governor for Hawaii. Check this out. He is builder. He built churches. I think he built Mike's church in the past. I'm not sure I heard of that. And he builds schools. He builds. He's a builder. See, his business name was Kingdom Builders. He is totally our guy. You can check him out on for Gary Cordery for governor.com, and you can see what he stands for. We talk about Airbnb. We talk about reducing costs, opening the space for real estate in Hawaii, and helping with a lot of other issues. Reduce those restrictive regulations. We know Airbnb in Hawaii, they just had passed those terrible laws that are limiting that platform. So check this out, please, and see if he can be our mentor high up in Hawaii. Thank you.
That's interesting. That's cool. Yeah, I know Gary really well. That's exciting that he's running for governor. We need a strong governor. That's awesome. Good stuff.
He'd be a cool guest.
He'd be a cool guest. You know who else would be a cool guest? I was just thinking, Alex, is who did we have lunch with the other day? Awa,
Who was it?
the Chinese restaurant that we went to.
Oh, Ave. Oh, Ave would be
Ave.
great.
Dude,
Yeah.
just the information he has about some of the zoning in Honolulu and what you could do with that. Will you work on that? Because his insights is like, it's crazy. Like I was blown away.
Yeah, I could get him on anytime. He
We
wants
only-
to have a call with you because he wants to talk about one of his opportunities.
Yeah, he wants to do a syndication, I think. So I'll
Yeah.
reach back out to him. Yeah, we could do it. We could do it with him.
I can
Everybody
invite
else-
Gary to this platform. I could invite Gary if you would like him to speak.
Yeah, tell him
Yeah,
to
of
reach
course.
out. Give him
Yes.
give him our numbers. We'd love to talk to him.
Okay.
I knew him.
All right,
I knew him when he was swinging a hammer, not running for governor. But hammer to governor is cool.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'd be happy to talk to him. I think I could probably just text him. That's awesome.
Okay, sounds great.
Yay!
We could set up something.
Yeah,
All right.
good stuff.
I mean, we're getting towards the end of the call, guys. So let's go and maybe pivot a little bit to, does anyone have a need? Like, is there anyone on the call that's looking for a mentor, that's, open to, sharing with all of us, what you are looking for and what need and what area. So, maybe we can help.
Can you help me with my fashion, Alex? It looks like you got some mentees in your office over there.
I got you, bro. We can go shopping anytime.
Daniel, you do not want to go shopping with this guy. You'll end up with jeans or pants that are as tight as tights. And then you're going to have like mismatched designs, but then yet somehow it comes together and you're like, man, that's amazing.
So sounds like you definitely want to go shopping with me.
You're awesome. It's actually fun to shop with you. Anybody else have any leads or needs?
Well, I think we have a need, but we have to find a property because we got a lot of people with money ready to invest with us and do a short-term rental. So let's put that out there, guys, everybody. We already decided we're interested in doing it. So if someone comes across a property that could be a good opportunity, maybe we run the numbers together, on one of our next calls, and we can evaluate the deal together, talk about, the insights to the deal and also, what everybody sees, and make a collective decision if it's something we want to pursue.
And on that, just for fun, for those of you who are actually interested in maybe partnering together into some sort of like a TIC or partnership on a short-term rental, will you just drop your name in there and what amount you would invest just for fun? Like if it's 10 or 20 or 50 or literally 10 cents. Reason is because I think, there is some validity to maybe going in together. And if we could get a short-term rental that not only could be rented out as a short-term rental to others, but imagine renting out your short-term rental to other coaches and mentors to create masterminds. And then we could all host masterminds at that property as well. So if we went to somewhere like Florida where it's sunny, or Arizona, or one of those destination places, then we could talk to the Morbies of the world and even ourselves and say, hey, let's create a STR designed for masterminds, which would be kind of cool. Wow, you guys are cranking. Look at you. We could raise a whole, we just pay cash for the dang thing. Alex, can you take all that down or take screenshots or something?
Yeah.
We'll do a, oh, you guys are amazing. Yeah, we could totally do this. Look at that. We're definitely over 100K. I think once we hit 300K, we'd be in the 900,000 range. We could go less than that too, but I mean, we could seriously create a really cool short-term rental together. And especially if it's a short-term rental owned by investors for investors, pretty sick. Let's do it. Oh, the numbers.
How about we go buy one of those hotels in Waikiki? How much do we gotta raise for that?
I don't think we quite hit that, Corey, but yeah, if we had a couple zeros to everybody's numbers, we'd be pretty good.
Okay. Just asking.
No,
I want one of those.
I like it. Dream big. No, you want a private jet, which has very little short-term rental cash on cash.
It's good for the tax savings though.
It's good for the tax savings. Brother, where are you driving to, man? You've been driving for 51 minutes. Like the island's not that big.
Yeah,
Are you driving in a circle?
I'm driving in circles. You know me. I'm lost.
I know, right?
I no more GPS. I'm on my Zoom.
I was going to tell everybody, Corey is one of the most brilliant guys I know, but he is diddly squat clueless when it comes to directions. It seriously would not surprise me. He's been driving 51 minutes to try to find the office.
Oh, yeah, true. That is true.
You're too funny. Alex, you got all those names down?
I got it. I took a video. So we're dialed. Everyone's locked in.
Oh, this is pretty sick. If you really think about it, between us, this could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, from 5K to about 25. And then if we threw in, no, I'd be totally down too. So let's do it. Throw in a couple markets, everybody, just for fun too, since we're taking polls. Oh, Dante's got 10 to 100K. Sweet, Dante. We'll let you have the master suite when you stay at the property if you do 100K.
Right. I think a cool idea would be something that we could make into like the ranch style, to where we could have multiple, homes on the property. So when we do no masterminds, we can literally house everybody that comes to the event at the property. I think that would be really cool. Have it like more of like a ranch setup.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
Wow,
we
I
could
love the chat.
rental.
Jason Lum's all about, it's a tax write-off. We go Vegas. Ranch is a cool idea. JD just tied up in North Carolina a historical property with lots of acres and a really old hotel, motel-ish, with like little tiny home type things. That's pretty sweet too. So, oh yeah, lots of opportunities. Dude, We're going shopping. All right, so everybody be looking as well. So I'd say we're close to 200 to 250K. So we could be in the budget of probably 600 to 700 with some room for furnishings. And then, well, that's not including, I mean, I'd throw 50 to 100 to this. I think that'd be phenomenal. And
Yeah, I
Corey-
think
Corey's rich, so he'll do 200 to 300. So that's cool. And Alex is in too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're probably
yeah,
over
at least
300.
25.
So we could definitely, oh, I thought Helena was saying we should grow like marijuana or something. I'm like, what? Grow food. I was like, now there's a fundraiser for you. That's awesome. Oh, Carolyn, I would give more time. Some people are still thinking Carolyn's in at 25K. I feel like we're doing a telethon. Let's raise the money for short-term rentals. This
Going
is
once,
awesome.
going twice. Oh, and we got another.
Hey, this is
investor.
a good this is a great indicator though, because like it shows the power of our community, right? So like,
Yeah.
I mean, the amount that people are putting up, like at least putting the number there, it's like, well, shoot, what else could we do together? You know, like what kind of cause? It doesn't even have to be real estate. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, it really is cool. And it just shows also the relational trust that we all have to just be like, hey, you know, we're willing to throw in some money. And what's cool is we're not even asking about the details, like, well, how many weeks do I get to use it? And, you know,
Yeah.
who gets to choose the colors? And, you know, because that's all, you know, decisions down the road. But we're showing that, you know, we're really not concerned about that. We're concerned more about the opportunity to do something together and then create investment opportunities maybe for others. I mean, that's a pretty interesting model. So a network of investors go in together on a cool business idea. I love it. All right, Daniel, we ain't funding Corey's Lamborghini. We are not going to lead into his materialism. First of all, we need to get him a freaking GPS that works, bro. You're clocking 57 minutes, bro. I have no idea where you're going on the island, but there is nowhere that you can go in 57 minutes.
I would be the worst Uber driver. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
I have great conversation, I think, but I get lost and I'll probably get 1 stars. I'll probably get fired. Has anyone ever gotten, can you get fired as an Uber driver from Uber?
I'm sure you can. Yeah.
Sure you could, or your passengers would shoot you. Like that would be so upset.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. My dreams of being an Uber driver is, I don't think that's gonna happen, guys. I've come to terms with it. But
Dante,
I think that was a great I love the conversation about mentorship, because I think it is important. I don't care what level you're at, you know. And you know, the more you go through business, it's like sometimes the harder it is to find mentors and true mentors that, you know, are going to be by your side and look over your shoulder. And then I like to see the chat, man. The chat was going off about I didn't realize how many people were willing to jump into something together, because Keiko and I and Alex and actually the whole team were kind of talking about it so much, like how fun would it be to get into a venture together, right? So I think it'd be
cool.
awesome.
So a couple takeaways from today as we wrap up here at 58 minutes of Corey driving. I mean, 58 minutes of coffee talk is number one, we can be looking for a mentor. And if you don't have a mentor, lean on anybody here in this network as an opportunity to first start. You know, if you don't have the money, you don't need the money. There's mentors on this call and they're amazing. And then number two, if you are looking for a mentor and you're vetting somebody out, just toss it by a few people on this network and see if anybody else has experience with them or can give you some insights to really help you. And then number three, let's go shopping. So everybody be looking out for something that kind of fits the description we're talking about. And then we can see what options we have in the different markets. And then we can talk about it and see what comes up. I think with the interest rates going up, obviously buying has slowed down. You're seeing price reductions, longer times on market, appraisals are coming in faster. So it could be a really neat opportunity to try to score a pretty cool property that we're all flippers, we're all renovators. So we just buy a piece of crap and make it amazing and be a lot of fun together. Any other wrap ups?
I think that's it. But maybe maybe by next coffee talk call, we gotta have some deals to look at real quick.
Could be good.
Maybe I know Anne had one, right? And she was giving updates. So yeah, if anybody has any deals, we can look at it all together. So, but I think that's it.
Can
Right
you
on,
just
guys.
confirm what you're looking for in this golden Airbnb property? What would be the ideal size, location, amenities, pool, lake? Like, where is it? What does it look like? So I can start looking for it.
Well, I think if we were to summarize everybody's comments, I think that there is a sense of getting an Airbnb that's not like any others, I think is the first one. So it's something that's going to be truly unique, and it should be. If you're going to have 25 investors together, it's got to be something that really stands apart. And we have the power to do something unique. So I think it could be something where it looks like, some are saying some space or some land that could even potentially have additional outdwellings. So you could actually host a really large mastermind or conferences or retreats or spiritual retreats. Like, it could be a really cool compound, if you will. It sounds like some maybe ancillary businesses like agribusiness, or, if we can rent some additional space. I was looking at a property here in Vegas that's a horse property with a really large home on it that would be great for short-term rentals. So if you had a horse arena, there's a lot of things that you could do. So it sounds like that's kind of there. I think location, there's comments about skiing and then water, and so I think it really is just a matter of what we find, I think, and just evaluate it together. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to buy one. Like, it could be that we find a couple of them that are pretty cool. Like, we could split in half and all take our money and go half, and then we do a ski side investor retreat, and then a water sunny side. I'm just talking out
And
loud.
we'll take the private jet. Everybody just load up all in, right? We can charter one.
But as long as you ain't flying, we'll make it.
Well, I have an idea. Like, what if we take the process from start to finish together? Like, maybe next call we spend or from now until next call, we take the top down approach. Like, what are the markets that are appreciating, that are best suited for short-term vacation rental when it comes to regulation, demand, and all that. See you guys.